So a little bit different for our channel, but it's Christmas Eve here. I'm gonna butcher this and create a Chateaubriand for a roast. Well, it's shaping up to be a white Christmas Eve anyway, if it keeps on going. So a little bit different for our channel, but it's Christmas Eve here. I'm gonna butcher this and create a Chateaubriand for a roast, which will be the center cut. It's a whole tenderloin. This came from just a local big box store called BJ's. It's USDA choice. It's nothing special, but it should be pretty good. And there's 3 distinct pieces to it. We'll get into that, but you got the head, there's a chain that runs along it, and then the tenderloin is in the middle. So I'll show you how to butcher it. And I just wanted to point out that I have a couple of bowls. There's 3 different pieces to this cut of meat. So I'm going to put the extras in there while I, butcher up the rest of it. I got some paper towels, cutting boards, and my knives. All right, so what I'm going to do is cut this end and pull this out and then leave the juices in the bag. So just taking it out. This is nothing special. We're just going to leave the juices in the bag, like I said. Okay, so and then what you're left with is here. And now, if you want to take a look at this, we're just going to pat this dry a little bit. I've already washed my hands really good. This end here is the head. So what we're going to do first is find the chain. And this one seems to have quite a bit of fat on it. We can start pulling this apart. This one has a particularly large amount of fat cap on here, and it's kind of hiding where we have to cut from. So I'm trying to pull this off, and then we'll get to the chain, which is going to be right in here. And then you want to mostly pull this apart with your hands until you get to where you can't do that, or sections like this where there's some tougher fat. And we can just go right in here, release this, and just continue to work with this. And when you get to this point, it's not going to separate anymore. You could just take your knife and run it right along here. And then we'll clean that up a little bit more as we go on. By the way, if you're a butcher and you see this, I am not a trained butcher, but I've done this a number of times, so I know it produces decent results. All right, so now that we've got the chain off mostly, and we're going to trim this up a little bit more afterwards, we're going to work on separating the head. Again, we'll just pull this apart as much as we can. Get rid of some of this. And then at the end, we'll just kind of go at an angle here. And this is the head. We can make a couple of steaks out of this. We can use it for stew meat, anything. It makes decent steak though. So now we're going to trim some of this fat, and then we're just going to kind of even out and get this. This is where it's connected to the ribs. We'll cut some of this off, but again, we're not going to waste it. And you can see it's a lot more even now. All of this is called silver skin. And this is completely inedible. It's very chewy. And we have to pull this off next. So I'm just kind of working underneath it. Then I'll get my knife in there. I'm kind of pulling upwards while cutting it. And just, you need to, it's important to get all of this off. I mean, this is not something you'd want to bite into. It's the opposite of tenderloin. All right, and you can see it's starting to take much nicer shape now. So now, for our roast tomorrow for Christmas, I think we're going to do something, and I'll tie this too. I think we're going to cut it here and about here. And then I'll save the rest to make steaks. Now on this end over here, this would technically be the fillet, and we can cut it and then kind of smush it into a steak. But we'll do the chateau for now. And you kind of want to do one motion. Not a lot of sawing. It's a little bit there, but it's okay. And then what we can do is just, kind of trim this up a little bit, make it look a little bit nicer. And we'll save that meat. You really don't have to get this detailed with it, but I tend to. I can't help it sometimes. All right, so here's our nice roast for tomorrow. We'll tie that up, and I'll show you that later. Let's put it aside. and I'll just cut these into little steaks. It's a little bit thin, this particular tenderloin, so it's not the best, but you just cut it and form it. This one was the head. All right, so now we're gonna tie this up. You can come in closer, and I'll show you. It's just, we have this roll of butcher's twine, and we're just gonna tie it up so that it keeps its form a little bit better. So I'm gonna get enough of this off and cut it, so I don't have to go back. We're gonna go around this about maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so times. So just make sure that you've got enough of that. And if you need to add another piece, you can, but I try to, keep it all as one. Okay, so let's get this out of the way, and I'll put this here so you can see better. Can move the knife. One trick that I did see was that if you put, at my old house, I had some non-slip drawer coatings or whatever. I don't know what you call them, but it kept your cutting board secure. If you don't have that, which obviously I didn't do here, you can use a wet paper towel or just a wet towel. All right, so anyway, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna get this first section tied. And what we'll do is we're going to tie this around like this. Tie one more knot in it. It's hard to do this and be able to show you with the camera, but tie one more knot in it, and then we'll be able to trim that off later. So then we're going to come around like this. Just stick the rope underneath it, the butcher's twine, I should say. And then when you get to where you want it, you just kind of lay it like that. And then you bring your other section through. And then tighten it up. So we'll do it again. Come down here. Get it to where you want it. Bring our other section through. Do it again. And when you get to the end, you can tie another square knot in it, just to tie it off. A couple of square knots maybe. If you start walking, you can move that before you tighten it. If your twine starts walking. But this is just going to help it keep its shape when we cook it. Sometimes, if you want to make 2 roasts, and you have that thin section that I showed you when I was butchering this up, you can fold that over, and it would occupy, say, this space. And then you have to tie it on so that it sort of cooks as one roast. And now for this one, I'm going to do the end. And what I'm going to do here is just go through a second time. to make it a little bit tighter. And then we can flip this over. Adjust that piece a little bit. And just tie these two together. Come back and trim it off. And that's it. So that's about it. This will be nice for tomorrow. We're gonna do this as a roast. This is for 4 people, so it's plenty. And then I'm gonna package these up. Those will be our steaks for some time. Just, you know, quick sear on both sides. And then I like to do 225 in the oven until they come up to temperature. Whatever doneness you prefer. I'll cut that stew meat up, and that's about it. And thanks for checking this out. I know it's a little bit different for our channel, but I thought, hey, I'm gonna butcher this thing. Might as well make a video for it.
Everyone, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Ryan appreciates it. And, you know, it's past the holidays when this comes out, of course, but happy holidays anyway. And check out the video with me cooking this tenderloin. I'm going to do some Brussels sprouts and some mashed potatoes, and it's a great Christmas dinner. So check it out.